This story takes place 27 years after the First Corporate War. The Nest by Sean Carrière. Chapter 23. It was anybody's guess just how long bench press had been knocked out. But when he opened his eyes, Laura was crouched over him. After a few seconds, the big man could hear the wheel woman's voice.
Bench press. Can you hear me?
Laura was shouting.
Please say something.
With the big man's return to consciousness, came the horribly painful throbbing of his skull. Worse on the inside than on the outside. Laura's shouting was obviously well-intentioned, but her voice, amplified through her helmet's speakers, felt like someone was cleaning the medic's ears with a nail gun. Bench press raised both his hands in the classic "enough already" pose, before saying,
"Laura, please, use your inside voice."
Bench press then sat upright and looked over at the row of wooden chairs. The girl was still seated where he'd left her, her body slack and her gaze focused on the open oak doors at the front of the room. But Danny Blue was gone. Laura helped bench press to his feet as she shouted into her helmet's radio.
Be advised, Danny Blue ain't here. I repeat, the prisoners escaped.
Bench press glanced at the mystery girl one more time before turning around and walking toward the open oak doors. His balance was off and his legs were wobbly, but he moved with determination. Laura grabbed the big man's arm as she tried to get him to stay put. When this obviously didn't work, she just followed the team's medic out of the bank.
"Slick,"
bench press began to say into his helmet's radio.
"Check our vehicles down in the farmer's market. Danny Blue's going to try and hotwire one of them."
Up on the roof, Slick moved from his covering spot over to the east side of the bank. The team's sniper pointed his weapon down at the farmer's market as he looked at the scope's image now projected on the head-up display inside his helmet's visor. Slick could hear the sound of a vehicle's window being smashed, somewhere down in the farmer's market below, and this let the sniper know where to focus his aim. It was still dusk, and this provided Slick with more than enough light, but all the produce stalls down in the farmer's market had awnings. 3 decades of exposure to the elements had left most of these as little more than tattered shreds. However, bench press had parked his van and Laura's truck near 2 of the only intact awnings left. This denied the team's sniper a clean shot.
Be advised,
Slick said into his suit's radio.
Target is attempting to steal one of our rides, and I have no clear shot. I repeat, I have no shot.
Kyle and Sam were in the 3rd building down from the bank. With the last booby trap finally set, the two rushed out of the building and sprinted down the street toward the farmer's market.
"Sam and I are on our way,"
Kyle shouted into his suit's radio. At this point, Kyle had been awake for nearly 40 hours and his tired, aching body wouldn't let him forget it. The young bounty hunter desperately wanted to sleep. The only thing Kyle wanted more than sleep was to give Danny Blue the boot fucking he so richly deserved.